It's been a while since our last stables update video, but we're delighted to confirm that the Phase 1 regeneration works at the stables at Wentworth Woodhouse have now been completed, and that we're looking forward to the next exciting phase of works. Although we've referred in our video updates to the recent work at the stables as Phase 1, this is very specifically about the regeneration work that we've been doing. In fact, we've been working at the stables almost constantly since the Wentworth Woodhouse Preservation Trust acquired the site back in 2017. The stables hadn't been used or properly maintained for almost 40 years by the time the trust took over. Of all the buildings for which we're now custodians, the stables and the adjacent riding school are the most derelict. Some of the spaces here are still dangerous to enter, and the scale of neglect and decay is huge. By itself, regenerating the stables for use in the 21st century is a colossal undertaking, but it's just one of the huge range of challenges that the Trust have committed to take on.
Shortly after the Trust acquired Wentworth Woodhouse, we used part of the emergency grant that had been secured from HM Treasury to put a new roof on the riding school and to remove asbestos, which had been used extensively in the roof space. The riding school remains in a very poor state of repair, but at least the roof is now sound and weathertight.
In 2017, the stables site looked very different to the way it does now. From 1950 until the mid-1980s, the stables had been used for educational purposes. Almost all the original interior fittings of the stables were removed to accommodate this change of use, and as a result, there are only a couple of places where we can get a sense of how the stables looked in their heyday.
In addition to the re-roofing of the riding schools, we've also done some smaller scale projects, including work on the North Range chimneys and inside the old carriage houses where the roof was in danger of collapse. Here, we've installed a series of temporary prop supports for the roof until we can secure the funds needed to properly repair it and make it safe.
One of the larger projects at the stables was undertaken just before the Phase 1 works began in 2024. We demolished the intrusive 1970s-era classrooms and swimming pool, all of which had been subject to extensive theft and vandalism and were in a very derelict state. The site that they occupied has been repurposed as a new visitor car park, and underneath this, we've installed a ground source heating system, which will eventually provide heating for the wider stable site as the Georgian buildings are regenerated.
The Phase 1 works continued the important work of protecting the built heritage that we're responsible for, but it also went much further. It prepared a part of the stable site for a new use in the 21st century, a use that will not only breathe new life into old buildings, but give them a key role in the financial sustainability of the entire Wentworth Woodhouse site. All the regeneration work we undertake is guided by our master plan. It's called A New Life, and we presented it to the government in Downing Street in 2018. The master plan was compiled following extensive public consultation and with input from a broad range of heritage specialists. It's this document that is our blueprint to ensure that we secure a financially sustainable future for Wentworth Woodhouse.
The master plan details our vision for the house and for the stables, including proposed changes of use within the buildings. These have been refined over time, but our plans for the stables and the riding school are starting to be realised.
The Phase 1 works have secured the buildings that will become the new visitor entry route into the site when the new car park is fully extended. This will happen in a future phase of the work, and the car park will be able to accommodate around 200 cars with provision for electric vehicle charging points and cycling parking facilities.
A newly constructed pathway will bring visitors into Mews Court, where they'll find a ticket office, toilet facilities and a coffee shop. Much of the cobbled surface of Mews Court had to be lifted during the Phase 1 works to allow for the introduction of service pipework and drainage. This has all been relaid, and our teams of volunteer gardeners will shortly begin planting out the areas around the new pathway, which are to be landscaped. Like the new pathways that we've laid at the Camellia House, the pathway at the stables provides an accessible route into the site for wheelchair users. We also plan to have our second changing places toilet located in Mews Court for use by visitors with complex needs.
From Mews Court, visitors will pass through a small passageway into the main stables courtyard. It's a big reveal moment. This vast space, equivalent size to 1.5 full-size football pitches, gives the first indication of the scale on which Wentworth Woodhouse was built. The stables were intended to house 83 horses and over 30 stable staff. They're absolutely huge.
In one corner of the stables courtyard, a new cafe will be created with indoor and outdoor seating areas, and beside it, we've laid out areas that will become our new production kitchens. The Phase 1 works have provided new roofs to all these spaces. Windows and doors have been repaired or replaced, and new wiring, heating, water and drainage services have all been connected.
The Phase 1 works began with a major programme of demolition to remove the intrusive changing rooms, showers and toilets that had been built in what had originally been the riding school courtyard. This area is now clear again. It's a large space which will be landscaped in future phases of work. And it's in this courtyard that you get a sense of how the Phase 1 works fit into the wider master plan for the stable site. The courtyard is surrounded by various structures. At one end is the new production kitchen extension, which was built over the footprint of an early 20th century garage. The garage itself was demolished when the changing rooms were built. To the south side of the courtyard is the riding school. The original doorway from the courtyard into the riding school was revealed during the demolition work. Opposite this, on the north side of the courtyard, it's framed by a building that was once used as the old carriage houses. There's a doorway here too, but this is a mid-20th century addition. Originally, this archway framed a passageway that led out into the main stables courtyard, and we intend to reinstate this in future phases of work. The remainder of the courtyard is framed by walls which back onto the gardens at Wentworth Woodhouse, with a few smaller stables buildings in one corner. So, imagine this whole area landscaped as an outdoor event space, with the riding school regenerated as a major indoor event space to hold exhibitions, concerts and conferences. Imagine our production kitchens fitted out to service the needs of the visitors to the riding school, the stables cafe, the stables coffee shop and other catering facilities at Wentworth Woodhouse. Imagine the old carriage houses repurposed to include a private dining room available for hire, with breakout spaces for event hires on the ground floor and overnight accommodation on the first floor levels.
And that's the ambition that we have for this part of the stables complex. In addition to rescuing and securing the built heritage of this part of the site, our plans will help realise the potential of these buildings to become important revenue generators for the Trust. Dozens of new jobs will be created, new volunteering opportunities will be developed, and the flexible use of the regenerated buildings will offer significant well-being benefits for our visitors.
There's a hard commercial reality that comes with responsibility for caring for a place like Wentworth Woodhouse. When the Trust acquired the site, it came with 83 acres of grounds and the buildings that sit upon them. There was no endowment of land or property to provide an income for the Trust. It's our job to create commercial opportunities to generate the revenues we need to support our ambitions. And the place at Wentworth Woodhouse that has the biggest potential to positively affect our ability to generate significant levels of new revenue is right here, in this corner of the stables complex. That's why the Phase 1 works were so important. The infrastructure that we need to realise our broader ambition is now in place. Future phases of work will transform this area into a vibrant space, providing a host of new opportunities for the communities that we serve. During 2025, we'll be finalising our plans and exploring a whole range of fundraising options to raise the money that we need to undertake the work. We're talking many millions of pounds, but that investment will make a material difference to the financial sustainability of Wentworth Woodhouse as a whole.
We're also currently working with MenCap, a UK-based charity supporting people with a learning disability, their families and their carers. Together, we're designing a training curriculum so that when the new cafe opens, we'll be able to offer training in hospitality and catering skills to people with learning disabilities. And right next door to the cafe, we plan to create a heritage skills training centre, using parts of the stable's structures as live sites to train stonemasonry and heritage joinery skills. As ever, there's so much going on at Wentworth Woodhouse, so please keep watching our channel for more detailed updates.